Hello and welcome back to the highlights from the Tennent's Men's Premiership and National Leagues. We've got a huge weekend of action coming up in Tennent's Men's National 1 with the race for the Championship and promotion heating up in the Borders. But first, we're going to look at the last weekend of regular season fixtures in the Premiership. And Hawick will look to go the first team unbeaten in the regular season since 2001, where the last team to do it were the Greens themselves. They took on Glasgow Hawks at Balgray as Andrew Pewtry commentates on the game.
Not content with finishing top of the table in the regular season, Hawick wanted to go unbeaten. They got off to the perfect start at Balgray when Fraser Rennick gathered a kick, found some space and fed Ethan Riley to run in the first score of the day. Hawks aren't an easy opponent though. Gary Strain, a stalwart of the Glasgow side, got himself a try from the back of a ruck maul, and with the conversion, Hawks took the lead. But a penalty from Kirk Ford got Hawick back in front after good work from Jay Linton. And more ill discipline at scrum time allowed Hawick to go for the corner. This time, Fraser Rennick went over himself. Rennick scored the third, but it was Callum, not Fraser this time. A nicely worked line-out move put him through a sizable midfield hole to go in under the sticks. And the visitors stretched their lead to 27 points before the break when Ethan Riley went in for his second of the day, stretching over the line. He was first to score in the second half too, getting his hat-trick when Paul Cairncross overthrew at the line-out and Hawick worked it to their try-scoring machine. The hard-working Tian Wright finally got the Hawks side of the scoreboard rolling in the second half after Ryan Fleet carried forward, allowing Wright to burrow over from close range. But Hawick responded with the pick of the day's tries, a sweet counter-attacking move that ended with Riley setting replacement Daglin Lightfoot free down the left-hand side. Hawks would have the final score though when replacement hooker Ryan Howie crossed from close range. Despite that, Hawick would finish the regular season unblemished.
A huge congratulations there to Hawick, a massive achievement going the regular season unbeaten. They will take on Mar in one of the semi-finals this weekend at Mansfield Park. And the other semi-final is a capital derby, as Edinburgh Accies will look to prepare for that by playing their last game this weekend against Harriet's Blues at Golden Acre, looking to get revenge for the loss in the reverse fixture at Rayburn Place. Andrew Pewtry commentates on the game.
This wasn't just a playoff warm-up for Accies at Golden Acre. They wanted to prove themselves, and that they did. It took them 10 minutes to open the scoring when Finlay Simpson gathered a throw near the Harriet's line. Fraser McCaslin looked set to score, but was thwarted illegally, and a penalty try was given. A near-identical score doubled Accies' lead a few minutes later. This time, Cole Imrie got the final touch, and the visitors couldn't be denied legally or otherwise. Jamie Looms set up the third. Spotting a gap, he darted through, but was nabbed just short of the line. Simpson was on hand to complete the job though, before Looms added the extras. and Harriets tried their best to respond, but ended up coughing up a penalty, which Looms struck sweetly. The hosts did get one before the break, though. A tap penalty saw the ball slung out wide to Mike Gray, who squeezed in at the corner to complete the first half scoring. "5:24 at the break, and the second period would produce a similar score. Max Wallace got the next one, showing excellent finishing skills to power past two defenders for the bonus point try. And Ian Bertinison's men could have let up, but instead they put the Blues to the sword, and Lewis Wells added the fifth, dotting down after barging through a couple of tackles. Harriet's called on the backup brigade and found some momentum with a clever Ross Thompson pass allowing Fraser Stanier to touch down out wide. That only poked the bear though, as Accies came back with their sixth try of the day, this time through Will Stephen after a bit of to and fro with the loose ball. There was still time for two more. Loosehead Cole Emery crashed over in the corner for his second of the day. Before good work from Lewis Wells freed scrum half St John Broad, who raced round to dot down behind the sticks. Fantastic preparation for Accies' playoff showdown with the Chieftains.
Well, across town at Millennium Park, Curry Chieftains were gearing themselves up for their semi-final clash with Accies as they took on Selkirk.
Only a late flurry of tries made this a comfortable-looking scoreline. For most of this game, Selkirk were right in it. In fact, they started by far the better side and reaped an early reward with winger Ewan McVicker, hard worker throughout, making it to the line after the forwards made space. Curry hit straight back though and levelled the scores with centre Greg Canny hitting a nice inside line from a maul. This put the Chieftains in the ascendancy briefly, but they still took full advantage. Jamie Forbes, the Curry fly half, was the man leading the charge, grabbing two quick scores to put his side in command. The first came off a long period of pressure up front, and the second, after good work from winger Ian Sim, who had opened up the visiting defence, allowing Forbes to stroll through untouched. Ryan Cottrell was a real threat for Selkirk in the centres, and he cut the deficit with a try just before half-time. He turned creator after the break, although that's not to take away from the brilliant handling of his teammates too, which helped in putting Finlay Whelans in at the corner. That score made it a 3-point game, but Curry replied immediately with an equally good try from kick-off. Sub-scrum half Paddy Boyer provided the key break, and lock Ewan Stewart took the final pass to crash over. Injuries put paid to any Selkirk comeback hopes as Curry went through the gears. Ryan Daly, who had come on at fullback, ran in the first after another Jamie Forbes break. And Ian Sim, who had looked so good in the first half, got one of his own when he found space on the outside and raced away. Cody McGovern made sure the Chieftains would finish with a flourish, adding the seventh and final try at Millennium Park, with a try that started well within his own half.
And so here's how the league table looks at the end of the regular season. GHA unfortunately are relegated to Tennent's men's National 1 as they finish 3 points behind Musselburgh and Harriet's Blues. Glasgow Hawks finish on 35 points and Jed Forest finish on 37. Selkirk just miss out on the playoff spots but a much improved performance this season in comparison to 9th place last year. Reigning champions Mar finish in the playoff spots after a much improved second half of the season, while Edinburgh Accies finished 6 points behind their city rivals Curry Chieftains. But at the top of the table it is Hawick who have finished the regular season unbeaten, an achievement not done since Hawick in 2000-2001. And so here are your Tennent's Men's Premiership semi-finals for 2022-2023. Curry Chieftains will take on Edinburgh Accies at Millennium Park, and Hawick will host Mar at Mansfield.
And so now to Tennent's Men's National 1, and a huge battle between first and third at Point de Parc as Kelso look to extend the gap between themselves and Melrose in the race for promotion and the championship.
It was going to be one of the most anticipated games of the season so far between the two border sides, and it would be Melrose that would start off the stronger, with Connor Spence going over for the first points of the game. However, the score was unconverted, leaving it at just 5-0. Kelso eventually got on the board for a Dwayne Patterson penalty. But Melrose would hit back with another try, this time through Harry Makowski in the corner. David Colvine's conversion left it at a 9-point game. Cammy Brown looked to get Kelso back into the game, and he latched onto this cross-field kick to go over in the corner as the score at half-time was 12-8. And the home side showed why they've been in title contention for most of the season. With perseverance, they drove over for their next try to take the lead, this time through Kim Drysdale, with Dwayne Patterson's conversion giving them a 3-point lead.
No.
Melrose looked to get back into the game with David Colvine scoring this penalty to leave it all square. However, Kelso would win the day as Dwayne Patterson once again got another penalty to give them a 3-point lead, with the final score finishing Kelso 18, Melrose 50. In contrast, in Tennent's Men's National 1, it was a high-scoring affair between Ayr and GHK as Ayr won 49-35 in Glasgow. The win keeps Ayr in the title race as they look to hunt down Kelso for promotion. It was not a good day for Stuarts Melville as their survival chances took another dent as Gallop put 52 points past the Edinburgh team. Highland got back to winning ways at the season as well as they also put misery on Stirling County, winning by 35 points to 10. Elsewhere, Biggar made it another win this week as they won 36 points to 10 over Watsonians, and Aberdeen Grammar couldn't make it 2 wins in 2 as they suffered a huge loss against Dundee Rugby, losing by 59 points to 0. So Kelso increased the gap between them and Melrose in first and third place. However, Ayr are still hot on Kelso's tails, just 2 points behind them. At the bottom of the table, Stuarts Melville are now some way off the pace, while Stirling County are also falling behind GHK. Dundee take a big step towards survival. We're back with a full fixture card next week as well as Aberdeen Grammar and GHK battle it out at Rubislaw while Ayr host Biggar. Dundee Rugby will face bottom of the table Stuarts Melville, while Melrose will take on Highland, Stirling County will take on Gala, and Watsonians host league leaders Kelso.
It's getting tight at the top of the table in Tennent's Men's National 2. Glasgow Accies got a resounding victory over Cartha Queen's Park, while Newton Stewart just beat Dumfries Saints by 3 points. Hamilton Bulls and Preston Lodge saw it out to a draw, while Kirkcaldy got a huge win over Berwick. Last week as well fell short against Falkirk, while Peebles managed to get another resounding win over Boroughmuir. Glasgow Accies are looking to reclaim top of the table, and they are now only 4 points behind Newton Stewart. Falkirk as well are only 2 points behind them thanks to their victory. Kirkcaldy jump up into 6th as well as they look to survive another season in Tennent's Men's National 2, and at the bottom of the table, Hamilton Bulls and Cartha Queen's Park look to be struggling. As we get to the business end of the season, things are heating up. Berwick will take on Dumfries Saints, while Boroughmuir will host Cartha Queen's Park. Falkirk will host Peebles as they look to close the gap on them and Newton Stewart. Glasgow Accies will face Kirkcaldy, Last Wade host Hamilton Bulls, and Preston Lodge make the trip to the league leaders. Can anyone stop Gordonians in Tennent's Men's National 3? They won 25-10 over Hillhead John Hill in Glasgow. Whitecraig's got a big win over Murrayfield Wanderers as well, while Orkney beat Allinglands by just 4 points in the Islands. Royal Hyde put in a solid performance against Perthshire but still lost 46-21. Strathmore were close but could not find the win over Hawick, while West of Scotland got a thumping victory over Greenock Wanderers by 80 points to 15. West of Scotland are now back into 2nd place, however they are still 13 points behind the league leaders. However, they're now 3 points ahead of Hillhead Jordan Hill. And at the bottom of the table, Royal Hyde Greenock Wanderers are now looking at relegation next season. Gordonians look to keep their unbeaten streak alive as they host Murrayfield Wanderers, while Allinglands host West of Scotland as West of Scotland look to close the gap between them and the league leaders. Greenock Wanderers will host Hawick, while Hillhead John Hill will look to get back to winning ways against Perthshire. Royal Hyde will take on Strathmore, and Whitecraigs host the visiting Orkney.
And so that is it for another weekend of Tennent's Men's Premiership and National League action. The semi-finals await us. Who will join us in the final a week from Saturday? Will it be Hawick, Curry Chieftains, Edinburgh Accies or Mar? And in Tennent's Men's National 1, Kelso lead the charge as they look to power through to the Championship and promotion. But can Ayr or even Melrose catch them? Join us next week as we'll round up all the action from the Tennent's Men's Premiership semi-finals and the continuing action in Tennent's Men's National 1, 2 and 3. We'll see you then.